Hey guys, I see you're chatting. So I'm trying something new just to warn you guys. So I know that I've mentioned a lot of times that I wanted to get an iPad so that I can do crafting live and still be able to see the comments while I have an iPad. So what I'm doing now is I'm just doing the face to camera so that I can kind of test this out and see how well this works for me to be able to see the comments. Not seeing anything right now. So I'm hoping that you guys, there we go. Getting an ad. Hold on. But I just want to make sure that I'm able to kind of see the comments without looking at my phone, because obviously when I do lives, I use my phone for recording. So let me see. All right, perfect. I can see comments. Perfect. So how is everybody? I know that it's a crazy time. I'm hoping everybody is staying busy, staying safe, staying healthy. How is everybody? Wow, lots of people on. This was kind of like, I kind of planned it a little bit, but I literally looked at the clock and realized what time it was and realized I didn't have a whole lot of time to get ready. But I'm here on time. Hello. All right. So, basically, I just wanted to pop on. I haven't talked to you guys in a very long time. Well, it seems like a long time. I really don't even know how long it's actually been. But if you don't already know, I have a Facebook group where we're doing something similar to this, where we're doing the Meet the Creator. So there's going to be 5 of us at a time. Well, not all at one time, but hi, Jan. I pick 5 people at a time, and people can ask questions. It doesn't necessarily have to be craft related. Hello, hello, hello. I figured I'll do it here on YouTube too. And my friend Kiona also, she did a pre-recorded video with a Q&A once she hit 500 subscribers, and I loved watching that video, even though I chat with her all the time and I pretty much know all of the answers already. I really enjoyed the video, so I figured I'll do it here. I did post in the community section. I know there's probably a better technical name to that. With any questions that people may have for people who aren't able to make the live. And I only had 2. So I'm going to answer those first, and then you can feel free to ask me anything you want. Almost anything. So Joan asked if I have been crafting more than usual and what I've been doing to kind of keep busy during this quarantine. For those of you who don't know, I'm in New York State. So most people know that New York State is kind of like the hot zone of the country. So our quarantine is probably going to last a little bit longer than most. I am upstate. I am not in New York City. So I'm not technically right in that hot zone. And contrary to what you see on the news, there is a whole nother state outside of New York City. But the cases are pretty high here. So I'm just staying in as much as I possibly can. And I haven't really been crafting any more than I normally am. Hi, Tiffany. Or I normally do. I was in the beginning, and then some of you who may have seen a video, I think it was for honeybee stamps 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a wasp problem, like the bugs, in my craft room. And I had noticed over the last 2 weeks that while I was in here, I would see one, and it would mainly be towards the window trying to get out. And I didn't know where they were coming from, but it was only one here and there. And I came in the morning, and there was 6 in here, 6 wasps that had come in overnight. They were either dead or dying, so they weren't well. Oh yeah, I fixed the wasp problem. So I live in an apartment. So normally I would call maintenance and have them come and take care of this. I'd probably move out until they could fix the problem. But because of this whole problem that we have going on, maintenance is for emergencies only. And honestly, I just don't even want anybody in here that doesn't need to be in here. So I did some research, thanks to some of you guys who kind of gave me an idea of what kind of wasps these were. Now I can't remember the name, but I Googled it. They usually come from above. And sure enough, there was two little holes in the ceiling from the people who previously lived here. It looks like maybe they hung like those planters or something from the ceiling. And I said, well, I'm going to give it a try. So I don't go anywhere. So I didn't go to Home Depot and get spackle or anything like that. So what I used, and it worked, guys. So this is just, you guys are crafters. We kind of have to get creative sometimes. I use texture paste on my ceiling. And since I've used texture paste on my ceiling, I have not had any more wasps. So that must have been where they were coming from. It is kind of like spackle. So, and luckily the ceilings in here are like those textured ceilings. So nobody's ever gonna notice the difference that there is texture paste on the ceiling. But I don't have any more wasps. I'm still paranoid though. I still like, I'm sitting here and I'm constantly looking around every time I hear like the littlest noise. I feel like there's wasps in here. So I was a little bit behind. Hi, Miranda. I was a little bit behind because I was too afraid to come in here. I did kind of have a temporary setup in my living room just so I could get my design team stuff done. But that wasn't comfortable. And I was, every time I forgot something, I had to keep the cards very, very simple because I didn't want to come in here to get any more supplies. And when I did, I had a flashlight in one hand, bug spray in the other, just in case. So, but hey, no more wasps. So I haven't really been crafting more than I normally do because of that. Hi, Mom. But now it's kind of like crunch time because I got myself so far behind because I didn't come in here for so many days. So I'm really I'm working a lot in here, trying to catch up on my design team stuff, trying to catch up on stuff that I want to get posted for you guys. Again, that Facebook group, you know, I've been trying to get some work done in there that needed my computer that is in here that I was too afraid to come in here to use. So it's so far so good. No more wasps. Did have a gigantic spider though today in the house, and I'm telling you, this was a giant. But that is gone. So it took care of that problem too. And another to tell you another funny story, how I got rid of the spider is that, I mean, this thing was like, most of you know Frankie. He loves to look out the window, and I have a sliding glass door. So I usually leave the sliding glass door open so that he can, you know, get some fresh air. And when I opened it, I noticed some legs, big legs. And I'm like, it looks like a spider, but I don't know whether it's alive or not. So I just sprayed it a little bit and the legs came out, and it was like this monster. And I'm telling you, like, it was at least the size of a quarter, and it was disgusting. So I closed the door real quick. I was on the phone with my mom and I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So I quickly opened the door, sprayed it, and closed the door again. Let it sit for a minute, and then I opened the door and I didn't see it at all. It was stuck to the door. So I was able to like kind of shake the door a little bit and get it off, but then it got stuck between the door and the screen. And now Frankie's meowing like crazy because he wants the window open, and I'm too afraid to open it. Even though the spider was dead at this point, it was still this massive thing between the door and the screen. And I don't even touch dead ones. Not gonna happen. So I'm like, how can I get this out? I need like a spray bottle that has like some really good pressure to it to kind of spray it outside. I don't have one. They all missed. So I filled an empty shampoo bottle with some water, and I sprayed it outside. So he got to have his window today. So the things you got to do when you're terrified of bugs. But those are my bug stories for the last couple of days anyway. Hopefully that will be it. The other question that I got was, somebody asked, they were new to YouTube and how to get involved in hops. Because they saw my post about Team Tiny. If you guys didn't see it, I believe it's every month, there's a group of fairly new to YouTube crafters. They call themselves Team Tiny, which is a cute name. and they're not monetized yet, so they all have under 1,000 subscribers, and they do have a different theme every month, and you just search that hashtag. Oh, Keona's in here. Okay, so I'm still looking at my phone, even though I can see. I'm not used to looking at my laptop, so I'll have to kind of scroll back through. So sorry if I missed your comments. I'll get there eventually. So yes, they will have a hop once a month, and that's great for newer channels, not only to kind of get yourself out there, get used to making videos, but you kind of have your own little group, your own little family that you can run things by and get advice from and things like that. There are collaboration groups on Facebook that you can join. Some of them are by invitation only. Some of them, there's certain requirements. My Facebook group is not. My Facebook group is anybody can host a hop. I host one every other month-ish. And others host them too, but it's open to all. If you want to join, you join. If it's your first YouTube video or if it's your 3,000th YouTube video, you are welcome to join in. So we have a nice mixture. And so far it's been really fun. It's been really fun. A lot of people have come up with really fun ideas. Our next hop is Case the Fellow Creator. So it's going to be a little bit different than a normal hop, but basically we have all the participants and they are going to get some inspiration from someone else that is participating in the hop, and so that they can give each other credit and get some inspiration from one another. So it's a fun group. It's a really fun group. And we do other things other than hops too. We do like the Meet the Creator. So we're going to be doing some live chats in there, not just me, the members. We do different challenges. We do different games. It's fun. And it's so much more than what I expected it to be. And I love the way it is. It feels like we really do have a community. Everybody's getting to know one another. And you can be involved as little or as much as you want. And I really like that about the group. So very, very happy that group is going well. But that is what I would recommend. I would recommend joining one of the Facebook groups. You can certainly reach out to me. I don't know whether she's watching right now, the person who asked that question. But you can always reach out to me. You can send me a friend request on Facebook. If any of you guys ever have any questions, keep in mind that I'm having issues with my Facebook Messenger. I'm not getting notifications at all. And even sometimes when I go in, I just have a blank screen, like my chats or my conversations aren't showing up. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But you can feel free to send me a friend request on Facebook and send me a Facebook message me on Instagram, send me an email if you need any help with getting involved, or if you want to join the group, I'll send you the link to the group and just come and join. It's not, it's not anything like exclusive or anything like that. So those are the only two questions that I had ahead of time, I believe, unless there was one that came in after the last time I checked. So I apologize if they did. But does anybody have any questions for me or anybody that maybe is in the chat? Because I like this to be a little interactive, and I understand that it's through comments, so it's not like we can all get on a video chat, but make it as interactive as we possibly can. How did I get Frankie? Oh, Frankie. So at the time that I got Frankie, I had 2 cats already. I had Macy, who I still have, and I had a little calico named Colby. And those were my girls. I loved them very, very much, but I went to PetSmart a lot. That's where I got their food, their litter, their everything. So they have the pet adoption places in PetSmart. And I went there one time alone, probably on my lunch hour or something. And I noticed this little guy in a cage. And he just, I don't know, those big eyes that he has, he just stole my heart. But I had 2 cats, and that was it. I had 2 cats, that was it. And so like 2 weeks passed, and I went into PetSmart again, and I was with my mom. And I said, oh, you got to see this little guy. His name is Frankie. He's so cute. He kind of looks like a cat that I used to have when I was a kid. And you went up to his cage and he immediately hissed. So he didn't seem like the nicest cat in the world. But I have Macy, so I'm kind of used to that. Those of you who don't know, Macy's not always a nice girl. I love her. She's my baby, but she's not always a nice cat. So we left PetSmart and I went back in there for something on Valentine's Day, and the cat was still in there. Nobody wanted this cat because every time somebody went near his cage, he hissed. And the woman tried to tell me he's terrified of being enclosed, and that's why he's hissing, but he's such a sweet cat. And we've had him so long, we're going to have to take the next step. I don't want to know what the next step was. I didn't ask what the next step was, but I talked to her about fostering, which basically means that he just comes and lives with me until somebody is ready to adopt him. So, no, that was Macy that stole the mac and cheese off my plate. Yeah, that paw I saw her kept raising her paw, and I knew she was about to go for it. So I turned on the camera, and sure enough, she did. But I took Frankie home as a foster, and I had him for about 2 weeks. He hid for the first 3 days, and then she was right. He was the sweetest cat. I've had cats my whole life, and he was, and still is, the sweetest cat I have ever been around. He is never in a bad mood. He will always give you love and snuggles. He's just the sweetest cat in the world. And this is before I even knew he had epilepsy. But my dad called me and he said, I found a home for Frankie. I have somebody who wants to adopt Frankie. It was about 2 weeks later, and I said, oh, well, he can't have him. So I ended up adopting him, and he became permanently mine. And he still is the best cat that I've ever had and probably ever will. I love Macy, but anybody who knows Macy knows that she has quite the attitude on her. It's Macy's way or no way. She knows she's the queen of the house, and you just got to let her be the queen, or else she's going to tell you about it. I have many scars. So does the vet. But yeah, that's the story of how I got Frankie. And no regrets. I've had him for 10 years. And his life expectancy is 10, and he is going to be 11, and he's very healthy. Hi, Angela. He went to the vet a few months ago, and all of his blood work is normal. It was a little bit off the time before. He has had the beginning stages of liver failure, but we have corrected that, so he is good to go. Oh, taking a break from filming. I hear ya. That's what I've been doing all day. All day. And in the middle of it, reorganizing my craft room for probably the 4th time in the last year, because I figure I'm home, why not? But it is what it is. So does anybody else have any questions? I'm kind of scrolling through to make sure I didn't miss anything. No, I don't think I did. Bear with me. This is a new setup for me for sure. Yeah, okay, I didn't miss anything. Do I craft full time? Now I do. I wish I could. It's just, you guys all know. It's not something that's going to pay you a whole lot, especially now. Not saying, mainly because as far as what I can see, now mind you, I have a small channel in comparison to many of the others. I would imagine that those that do this full time get a majority of their money through affiliate links, because it's not a whole lot from YouTube. I can tell you that. Mojo, yes. Oh, yeah, definitely. That's an issue too for me. Lately, can't seem to create what I want to create that I have in my mind. But yeah, I don't craft full time on a normal basis. I'd love to. I just wouldn't be able to make enough money to pay my bills. I don't Mojo. Let me get back to Mojo first. Mojo, it's I feel like I'm kind of getting, and some days are worse than others, and I don't want to say that like I'm going into a state of depression or anything like that, but it is this quarantine thing is it is starting to wear on me a little bit. The weather's not nice, and it should be because we're at the end of April. So I feel like if the weather was nice and I could go for a walk every day or sit outside every day, it would at least get me out of the house. But it's not. So I'm stuck here, terrified to go anywhere. And it's just it was starting to get to me. So I'm trying to stay busy, which is why I started reorganizing the craft room, which is not the best time for that. I should at least get caught up on my design team projects before I do that, but I can't seem to focus on things, so I'm struggling a little bit with that, but some days are worse than others. When I lose my mojo, I have to walk away. I know that if I sit down and the first 3 things I touch turn into complete garbage, which trust me, it happens, I have to walk away. Whether it be for an hour or whether it be for 5 hours, sometimes I just have to walk away and come back. And usually when I come back, I can look at it and be like, well, this isn't as bad as I thought. Or, oh, I know what I can do with this. You know, sometimes you just need fresh eyes, and you just need to give those eyes a break a little bit. I had a question, do I sell my cards? I do not. I did for a while, a long time ago. I did a couple craft fairs, which are fun. Not looking to make money on them, but they're just fun. You meet other crafters. Of course, they aren't necessarily card makers, but they still have the love of crafting. So it was fun to meet the other vendors. And then for a very, very short period of time, I was in and I can't think of what type of store. There's like a term for the kind of store that I was in, but it's basically you rent out a space there and to sell your product. But it was not good. It was not it was like $50 a month or something, and where they put my cards was away from all the other cards. So if people had run into those other cards, they're going to grab one and then they're not even going to look at mine. And then you had to put in, and I can't remember, I think it was like 12 hours a month working there, which I know doesn't sound like a lot. But when you have a full-time job and you're trying to do your YouTube and you're trying to do your design teams, those 12 hours are a long time to sit there. And it was never busy. It was always boring. So I only stayed there for a very short period of time, and then I left. But so I was never really successful selling my cards, but I never really tried. I never really put in a whole lot of effort to selling them. Yeah, I mean, you know, craft fairs, I found that I was more successful at craft fairs than I was at this shop. Because even though people were going in there for handmade things, they were going in there for more handmade things, not cards. Where if you were at a craft fair, people like that stuff, and a lot of times they're buying a gift. And I'm sorry, I just saw the pudding pop comment come up, and I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, so I feel like a lot of times when people see cards, it's more like, oh, that's right, I needed a card for so and so. I may as well get it here because I don't want to have to stop at the store. And I think that's where a lot of my sales came from. I am going to be doing another one probably in the fall, hopefully, if everything works itself out, mainly just to get rid of my cards. I have so many cards. I send them. I send my cards out, but you know, I'm making probably 20 cards a week. And I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot, but 20 cards a week and I'm only sending one or two, it adds up pretty quickly. So I'm thinking about doing a craft fair and just selling them for like $1 a piece, just to kind of get rid of some of them. Angela asked me about the pudding pops. So I am friends with Angela on Facebook, and she's taken advantage of this quarantine because she is cooking up some good stuff. And she posted a picture of pudding pops. And I haven't had pudding pops since I was a little kid, but she put, what did you put? Oreos or chocolate or something in them? And it looked so good. And I would love to make pudding pops, but I don't have the popsicle things, like the popsicle molds. So I did place an order for grocery delivery, but they didn't have them. They had pudding, but I didn't bother to buy it because I didn't have anywhere to make pudding pops. But they were, both. She put both in there, chocolate and Oreos. They looked so good. And then she made them again the other day. She showed a picture of her meatballs, and then the next picture was her pudding pops. And it's like, once this is over, I'm making my way down to Florida because I'm going to Angela's house for dinner someday and pudding pops for dessert. I know I missed a couple of comments. Bear with me a second here. Have I been taking advantage of companies that are offering free digital stamps for doctors, nurses, and anything social distancing? I have not personally, mainly because I struggle very hard with digital stamps. I am not good with them. I have been making a lot of cards, but they've been more like encouraging cards. And I haven't necessarily been sending them to doctors or nurses because, at least around here, I know on the local news they said they're getting massive amounts of them. And they're probably going to get lost in the mix. And they're super busy with all of the patients and things like that. So I don't know whether they are even going to get them. So I've been sending them to friends that I haven't seen in a while, neighbors that I can't even see. Gave one to my mail carrier, things like that. I mean, that's the only thing that I can do. I'm kind of useless when it comes to anything else during this pandemic. So at least I can make people cards. Let me scroll back, see if I missed any. Yeah, right, Valerie? She makes those pudding pops look good. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look on Amazon. I mean, I can't even, I'm sure it's everywhere, but even when I try to order something from Amazon, it's taking a long time to get. Even like Prime is taking like about a week to get to us. Yeah, I don't have the molds either, Mom. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get them too, because if she keeps making those pudding pops, I'm really gonna have. And it's so crazy. It's because I don't like fast food. I rarely will eat fast food. I'm just not a fan. But during this time, you see commercials, and you get to you start wanting things that you can't have. You want to go places you can't go to, and things like that. And it's like, all I want is Arby's, and I haven't had Arby's in like years, but I want Arby's because I just keep seeing commercials. So, Target online. Okay, I'll have to check that. Because I know I've been just trying. I just want some Lysol wipes. That's all I want is Lysol wipes, and you just can't get them here. So, let me see if I missed anything else. Target online. My mom's gonna check for those popsicle molds. Is Target online expensive? I've never ordered from them online. Ooh, Dixie bathroom cups. Okay. They are open, Shirley, but I am probably one of those. I'm not a fanatic when it comes to being afraid of everything, because I will go out if I need to go out. But I don't want to do the fast food thing or any kind of takeout right now, because it seems like they're all have people that have tested positive for the virus or whatever, on the news. So I just don't want to take the chance. I don't know who's making the food. I don't know who's packaging the food. I don't know who's taking my money and things like that. So, no fault of theirs, but I just would rather not chance it. So I did get groceries. That was another disaster. They replace things. If they don't have it, they'll replace it with something comparable. But their comparable item is 3 times the price. And it's like my order went from an estimated price of $160 to, by the time they delivered it, was $205. So it was a lot of money for very few things, because the prices are just outrageous. Angela, I was able to get Lysol spray, but I don't use it much because I know it's not good around animals. So I only use it when I have to. I don't have silicone ice cube trays, but I have the silicone little baking dishes. I wonder if that would work. I bet you they would. Whole bowl of pudding pops. Oh my gosh, that would be dangerous. Yeah, there's a lot of restaurants that are doing delivery, and while I would love to support them because I want to support small businesses, I just don't want to risk it. I'm just a little too paranoid about it. Kiona, I tried 2 places. I tried ShopRite and I tried Price Chopper or Market 32, same thing. Price Chopper was better than ShopRite. ShopRite was a complete disaster. And I just didn't get things. Like the things that they couldn't comp, I just didn't get anything. And the price was still a lot more. Let me see here. Yeah, a lot of people are still ordering from restaurants, and I totally agree. I guess it depends on probably where you live. I'm just paranoid because, like, for those of you who live in New York State, whether it be downstate or upstate, many people from downstate come upstate often. Many people from upstate go downstate often. So it's kind of all over the state because of New York City. So it's just I'm just a little paranoid. And mainly because I know more than likely I'd be okay. But I don't want to give it to anyone else. So that's what makes me nervous. They slide the pizza in a box. I don't even know if we have Domino's around here. I'm in Albany, New York. So I'm upstate. I'm not in New York City. Yes, my mom's on here now, or else at least she was. She's still making cards. She actually, I got one in the mail from her today. Yeah, she's still making cards, and she's gotten so good. She's texted me pictures all day. Her coloring she made one that was absolutely gorgeous. The other day, she did it all in gray tones, and it was a floral. It was a neat and tangled floral. I can't remember the name of the stamp set, but it was gorgeous. When is my birthday? My birthday is August 29th. Yeah, my mom's going to do any more videos. I do want to set her up with a blog. Definitely want to set her up with a blog, but I want to set it up from her computer so that I can get everything so she doesn't have to log in, because she's not, no offense, Mom, but she's not great with technology, just because she's never had to really use it. So, and that's fine, but I just want to I want to set it up from her computer, so all she's got to do is go there, new post, and post it. And obviously, I've been steering clear of her and my dad. I've gone over to drop things off because most things are very hard to get. So if I'm able to get paper towels, I split it, give her half. I keep the, but I haven't been inside her house. I stand outside, I put it on the porch, and I leave. So hopefully very soon I'll be able to set up that blog for her. Oh, you got a card from my mom. Oh, were you paired up with her? We did a card swap in the group too. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Yes, I know. She has Instagram, and I think she follows me only. And she's never posted a picture. So you gotta, she's very new with the iPhone thing, but she just has to download the app and she needs to start posting photos. Because I guarantee she'll find some people to follow, get some inspiration from people, and people will start following her. And I think she would enjoy Instagram if she actually used it. Every once in a while, she'll sign into Instagram, and I'll know because I'll sign in and it says that I have 100+ notifications. And when I go in, it says Donna Krieber liked your post. Donna Krieber liked your post. Donna Krieber liked your post. So she goes just down the line. Yes, you got to share, Mom. Yeah, I enjoy using my camera. I do still use my phone sometimes, especially when I have days where I have a lot of filming to do, where I will use my camera, plug that in, go on to the next one, and use my phone. So I use a mix of both of them. And I just use different editing software depending on what I'm using. But it makes it, I can get videos out a lot faster, or at least record them. Because it, I mean, let's face it, for those of you who do YouTube videos, it's not a short process. It's not, you can't whip out videos as fast as we'd like to. It is, doing videos is nerve-wracking in the beginning. And I can tell you that I know this came to mind because in the Facebook group, when we were asking questions for our Meet the Creator, somebody had asked that I haven't answered yet. So I'm not going to answer it now. I'll wait to do the live. I believe my live is Sunday for the Meet the Creator. But one of the questions was, what was the most embarrassing moment? It doesn't have to be Crafty related or YouTube related, but what was one of my most embarrassing moments in my life? And I have so many. But when it got me thinking, because I was so shy before YouTube. I was so shy. In school, at jobs, until I got really, really comfortable, I was very, very shy, reserved. I would be friends with anybody, but I didn't like to be in large groups. I didn't like to talk in front of a lot of people. And YouTube has really opened me up a lot. And it helped me a lot. And in the beginning, it wasn't like that. In the beginning, I was terrified for every voiceover. It took me almost a year to do my first live chat because I was too scared. I was too afraid to show my face. I was too afraid to maybe get tongue-tied. Even during my voiceovers, if I messed up on my voiceover, I'd start it all over again. Now I don't care. You guys know. You guys know. If I mess up on something, I mess up on something. You guys can either correct me or just laugh it off with me. Whatever you want. I don't get offended either way. But it is what it is. I'm just me now, and YouTube has really helped me with that. Let me scroll back through because I know there was a few questions. What type of cutting machine do you have in the background? I have just been given a very old one, trying to learn how to use it. This one right here, I'm assuming you're talking about, that is a Gemini. That's the full-size Gemini. I've had my Gemini for a very long time, way before anybody even knew what a Gemini was. It was when it first came out, and it was like on HSN or something, and my die cutting machine had just broke. And my mom and dad surprised me with it. And because I called my mom and said, you got to see this thing. And because there wasn't anything like it. And they surprised me with it. So I love, love, love my Gemini. They have 3 different sizes. The Gemini Junior is more traditional of the regular die cutting machines like a Big Shot or a Cuttlebug, where the Gemini that I have is huge. The cutting plates are 8.5 by 11. So if you are someone that colors a bunch of images and wants to die cut them all at one time, you will be able to do that with this one. I love my Gemini. All right, let me scroll back here. Do I like doing voiceovers or just talk while you're crafting? I would like to do both. But I typically do voiceovers. And the reason why I do voiceovers is because my cards typically take a long time. If I just sat down and made a very quick card that took, 20 minutes or something, I could easily talk while I craft. But my cards generally take, like if I make a scene card or something, the card itself usually takes me anywhere between an hour to an hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours. And you guys don't want to sit there and watch all that. So I always speed my videos up. I cut out areas that are repetitive. If I have to get up and get something, I can edit that out. So I don't have to be as prepared when I know I'm doing a voiceover. I don't have to have like everything in front of me, because I usually have a loose plan in my mind for my cards, but 99% of the time it never ends up the way I have it in my mind. So I always end up having to get up and get things and things like that. So it's easier for me to do voiceovers. I will be doing live coloring though. I'm going to do a color in chat, which is why I'm testing this whole iPad thing out, and it works perfectly. So in the next, well, you guys tell me whenever you want. I'm going to do a color and chat. So we'll just chat while I color. You can ask me questions about the coloring. You can ask me questions about anything. We can just chat, whatever. But let me know when you want me to do that, because I'm free. Let me see. Let me scroll back through. Yeah, my embarrassing moments. I have one in mind that I'll probably tell, but I have quite a few. Oh, Jessica, that's so nice. Yes, I will definitely, if my mom starts a blog, or even when she gets her Instagram up and running, I will definitely share it with you guys, because I'd love for you to follow her. Nothing wrong with babbling too much, Shirley. Nothing wrong with that. I never used to babble. I used to stick to exactly what I did in the card, and when I ran out of things to say, you just got silence. Sometimes you got music, but most of the time you got silence. But I've gotten a lot more comfortable because I've gotten to know a lot of you guys. And for those of you who are fairly new to my channel, or maybe haven't caught a live before, many of you guys in here can confirm that I get to know you guys. And so that makes me feel more comfortable, because I feel like I'm just talking to my friends, which I am. For the most part, I'm talking to my friends. And because we do get to know each other quite well, especially since the Facebook group opened, I think that I've gotten to know people a little bit more, which I love. We do group chats through Zoom, and I get to put a face with the name, and it's a lot of fun. Let me see, the frame looking thing behind you with your dies, is it just a frame with magnetic sheets inside? Yes, it is. It's a another I had like one of those. Do you ever think that you've come up with something really clever, and not even clever, but oh, I have a great idea for that, and you just immediately purchase it, and then you realize, what was I thinking? Like, this isn't gonna work. I wanted a magnet board for my most used dies, so my stitch rectangle dies and stuff like that. All the other ones are stored someplace else. So I just looked up magnetic board or something like that, and it had the rose gold frame, so I ordered it. And it's a dry erase board, which is great because magnets stick to it, but I'm not sticking a magnet to it. I'm sticking a die to it. So I need it to be magnetic. So I had to buy magnetic sheets and just fit it inside the frame, and it works fine. But it was just one of my moments. Let me see. They both look the same. That's the best thing to do. Yeah, you guys probably never scrolled back to my first couple of videos. Don't. You will be bored. Um, yes, I love, love, love my Gemini. My first 30 to 40 videos are all rubbish. They're all right there on my channel. Yeah, mine, I would say for the first, I would say for almost the first year, I was very, and I think honestly it helps for people to get to know you a little bit when when you are a little bit more comfortable, and you can't force yourself to be more comfortable. That just comes with time. So once you do become more comfortable and you let your personality show and you let it show that you do make mistakes, because you know, a YouTube video is very deceiving. It looks like I made no mistakes because I edited them out. There's no mistake in the pictures because they're edited. I stopped that. You know, if I make a mistake, I leave it in there. If I have a mistake, I don't edit it out of my photos either, because nobody's perfect. And you're not going to learn anything from my YouTube channel if everything appears to be perfect. Because first of all, even if you were to make the same exact card with the same stamp set, same color, same everything, it should not look like mine exactly. It may look similar, but it shouldn't look exactly like mine. You're never going to be able to completely duplicate something else that somebody else made. And you shouldn't be able to, because it's your card. It's okay to try to duplicate it, but don't be discouraged if it doesn't come out exactly the same, because it's not meant to. Even if I duplicated it, it's not going to come out the same. If I created a scene card now and I tried to duplicate it and make the same exact scene card tomorrow, it will look different. So don't stress yourself out about that if it doesn't look exactly the same. It's not because one person is better or one person is more creative or more talented. It just means that they're made differently. They're two different people making the same card. So don't stress it. Let me scroll. I know I'm missing a whole lot of comments here. 20-minute video, haha. Kiona. Yeah, voiceovers for sure for me. I used to do a lot of retakes with my voiceovers. Now I don't. Unless the only time I would redo it because my allergies are out of control is if I sneeze. Then I will redo it. Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through and making sure that I didn't miss any questions. Tiffany, I don't know if we're friends on Facebook, but if we're not, find me on Facebook, send me a friend request, and I will send you the invite. Read some reviews that the plates for the Gemini don't last long. Have you had any trouble with them? No, I haven't, because I don't use the plates. I use I don't want to say it, I don't use the plates. I do use so the sandwich for me that works for me is the cutting plate, the die and paper, the plastic shim, and then another cutting plate. For my base cutting plate, once mine got really, bent and stuff like that, I replaced it with a self-healing cutting mat. I just cut it to size. You can get the self-healing cutting mat if you don't already have one. I get them for like $3 or $4 on Amazon, and when I cut it in half, I get 2 actually, and it lasts forever. You may have to add an extra shim. You'll just have to play around with it to get the right kind of pressure, depending on the self-healing cutting mat that you use, because they're all different thicknesses, but I don't have an issue. But even before I did that, I had the same cutting plate for probably 6 months. You have to rotate it regardless of what die cutting machine you use. Make sure that the base cutting plate that you're using, or the one that has all, the one that you're actually die cutting into, the one that gets really cruddy and gross looking and ugly, that one, you want to rotate it. Not only rotate it, around clockwise or counterclockwise, but you want to flip it. So you'll see that it will start to kind of bow a little bit. And that's just because you're running it through a machine that's applying pressure. So if you rotate it or flip it around every couple of times, you'll notice that you'll get a better cut, and it will kind of even itself out because it was bowed this way. Now it's going to bow this way a little bit, and it will kind of even itself out. So that will make your plates last longer regardless of what cutting machine that you're using. Let me see. Is the craft group you started with other crafters still going on? I haven't heard much more about it. Yeah, just send me a friend request. If you're talking about the Facebook group. Oh, maybe you're not talking about the Facebook group. If you're talking about the Collective Creators, the Collective Creators does still have a Facebook group, but the Collective Creators website is no longer. But there is a fabulous Facebook group full of all of the members, and we share projects, we share different ideas, they do some live chats in there. So it's basically, you're getting a lot of the same stuff, you're just not getting the content like the videos and stuff like that. But yes, there's still a Facebook group. Okay, who are your favorite crafters to watch on YouTube? Oh boy. Oh, I don't even know if I can name them all. When I love Sandy Almack. Because I feel like I'm just mesmerized when I see her create, and I know when I see her create, it's nothing that I'll ever be able to do. She just has that natural artistic talent. But I love watching her. I like to watch, I mean, of course, I like to, watch Kelly Letivola. I like to watch Giannis Makula, like the bigger names that we all watch. But lately, I've been liking to watch the smaller channels, the newer channels. I shouldn't say small because they're not always going to be small. They're just new. So Kiona's in here. I watch her channel. She does some amazing things. She involves her Cricut a lot. So for any Cricut owners, you may want to check her channel out. She is in this group right now. I believe she's still on live. I don't know whether she's still here, but Kiona, the Craft Therapist. Craft is spelled with a K. Check her out. I love Renee from Delaney Jane Cards. I love Amanda from Rise and Procrastinate. I love Amanda Stevens from Pear Blossom Press. Tara right there from she's commenting. I don't know whether you can put links. I don't think you can put links in comments, but there's so many that I watch. There's so many. I also have, for those of you who didn't notice, I have a guest around the 15th of the month, depending on design team commitments, hop, stuff like that. So it's around the middle of the month. So it might be the 15th, it might be the 14th, it might be the 16th, but somewhere around there. I'm going to have a guest on my channel, and I have for the last 2 months. And these are usually newer YouTubers. And the reason why I'm doing that is because, number one, they're very talented. Number two, it's very hard to grow your channel in the beginning. Very hard. And I've seen so many talented crafters who get discouraged, and I was too. Because YouTube doesn't help you out. So you have to gain those subscribers yourself. And it's hard to get to your first 500, your first 1,000. It's very hard. So if I can help in any way, I will do that, mainly by introducing you guys to somebody who I think is phenomenal and that you can learn from, that you'll enjoy watching, and they will feature a video on my channel with the links. If you like what you see, go over to their channel. Think about subscribing. Think about watching some of their other videos. And so hopefully that will help, because let me tell you, there was many times where I said, this isn't going to work. I'm putting in all of this work and all of this time into the videos that it's not paying off. And nobody's seeing them. So I just saw something in the video floating behind me. I'm paranoid about the wasps. So yeah, so you'll notice that. So a lot of those people that you'll see are ones that I enjoy watching myself. Okay. Most people dislike their first videos. I disliked my first year's worth of videos. And there's many videos now that I still think like, why am I even posting this? A lot of YouTubers have comparison charts for colored pencils, but I have Soho colored pencils and I don't know what they are close to or how to use the closest to whatever is being used. Can you help? I've never honestly even heard of them. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my pencil and I'm going to write this down. So after this live, I can do a little bit of research on the Soho pencils and see what they're closest to and see if I can help you out. And we'll either chat about it in the next live or we can chat just one-on-one. But just give me a little bit of time to do some research. I'm not an expert when it comes to colored pencils, but I'll try my best to help. Imperfections is what I love about handmade cards too. That's what makes it handmade. To me, there has to be at least one imperfection, whether the recipient sees it or not. Yeah, I'm going to do the live colored and chat will be in the evening, so that'll be fine. New Copic refills. Still waiting to hear about the details. From what I know now, and I don't even know if this is true, they are coming out with new Copic refills. So the ones that we have now are no longer going to be available. I have one right here. This is a Copic refill, various ink. This is what I have now. And there is, I don't know because it's in Japanese. So I don't know how many ounces or whatever is in here, but whatever. On Blick, I think I pay around $6 for a refill. But the new refills, from what I hear, are going to be half the size. So half the amount of ink in here, you're going to get half of it. The packaging will be different, so I think it has more of like a needle type thing where you can fill it. But quite honestly, and that's a pretty fine tip, and I never have had an issue refilling my markers with this tip. I've never spilled it, never. And I'm super careful just in case, but I never spilled it. So from what I hear, it's going to be half the amount, different packaging, at the same price. So, all right, bye, Mom. I'll talk to you tomorrow. So that's a little bit disappointing. I wasn't able, I know a lot of people were trying to get as many refills as they possibly could before the price, well, the price isn't going up, but this is going down. But I just didn't have it in my budget to stock up, so I'm going to have to wait until I need them. And even so, I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But that's all I know for now, and I don't even know how true it is. I do know that there is going to be a little bit of a delay due to this whole issue that's going on. I personally buy my stuff from Blick. I feel like they have the most consistent pricing. I don't have to wait for sales. Their pricing is always the same. I don't have to try to catch any kind of sales or discounts or anything like that. Let me see. Oh no, your Gemini can't die. Don't let the Gemini die. Sorry guys, I'm just scrolling through. What am I drawing? No, I was just making a note. Somebody wanted to know about Soho colored pencils. So I was writing myself a note to remind myself that after the live, I'm going to do a little bit of research on them. So I don't draw. Guys, you know me. If I don't have this, I'm not drawing because I can't do anything without my ruler. I'm new at card making. What would you say are the must-haves to get started? Thanks for help with the Soho. Must-haves. My advice is to watch YouTube videos to learn the different things that you may want to try. However, know that you don't need all of those products. In order to make a card, you need stamps, inks, and paper, and some glue. That's all you need to get started. And what I would suggest is that, because I think most of us are going to be guilty of this when I say this, but when I first started card making, I spent. I wanted it all. I wanted to try it all. And I mean, well, if I could have that money back now, because 90% of the stuff I never used again. So start off with real basic stuff. Start off with one coloring medium. It looks like you have the pencils, so try that. Eventually graduate into maybe some watercoloring. Maybe you want to try some watercoloring. Arteza is a great company to start with because their art products, their pencils, their watercolors, their markers are inexpensive. And it's a great way to kind of get a feel of that medium. I'm still seeing something flying behind me. But I would definitely try Arteza for your art project or your art products. Find what you are most comfortable with and what you love the most. What I would start off with is, like I said, a couple of stamps, a couple of inks, paper, adhesive. Maybe you want to get a couple of embossing powders to kind of add some texture. I wouldn't go crazy with, all the inks. I wouldn't go crazy with all of the embossing powders or everything out there. Slowly build your collection because there may be something that you come across that you don't like using. So you're not going to want to get anything similar to that. That was my problem. I was getting stuff so fast that I didn't even get a chance to try it before I was getting more of them. When the distress markers came out, I'm telling you guys, I had to have every single distress marker. But I was getting packages of distress markers before I tried the distress markers that I'd already purchased. Had I tried them before I purchased more of them, I wouldn't have purchased more of them. Not that they're not a great product, they're just not for me. So slowly build your collection. Buy little bits at a time. Give yourself some time to test out different techniques and different products before you go purchasing even more. Look on eBay and things like that for things that have been used that are still good. A lot of people destash. A lot of people are moving and they're getting rid of stuff. Some people are just reorganizing their craft room and getting rid of stuff. So check that out. And that way you can really get some cheap stuff and try it out. And if it's not for you, then you didn't waste a whole lot of money like we all probably did at one point. Let me scroll back through. Let me find that. Hi, Maria. Hi, Renee. Hi, Pam. No, it wasn't a stink bug, Marie. It wasn't a stink bug. I spent a ton at first, but my 2020 resolution was to not spend on any new craft items. So far, so good. I have not purchased anything either. Paper is the only thing I purchased. And that was actually for the event that I purchased the paper for. But I'm using it because I'm almost out of black cardstock and the event's not obviously going to be for a little bit. Many of new cutting plates for my Gemini Junior and have been thinking about using the self-healing mat to save money on replacing them since you have used. Yeah, definitely try the self-healing mat. It's going to last you almost forever. And it's really inexpensive. I have never found it to damage my machine at all. You do have to play around with it though. So when you first cut down your cutting plate or your self-healing cutting mat, just take a scrap piece of paper and whatever die and run it through a few times because you will have to play with the sandwich because it's going to affect the pressure or not going to affect the pressure, but it is going to affect the pressure because it's going to affect the thickness of your sandwich. So you may have to play around and add some shims. I use, by adding the plastic shim and the metal shim, I don't have a problem, but you may have a different self-healing cutting mat than me. Let me see. Am I going to do any destashes soon? Yep. In fact, we did a in the group we had a Crafty goodies swap. Instead of swapping cards, we sent each other a little package of stuff that we no longer need or use in exchange for others. So that was kind of fun. My package went off today, so she should be getting that in a couple of days. Destashing and process. Wow, Maria, several boxes. I know you said you had a lot of stuff, but wow. Really, Barbara? I've never had a problem with my self-healing cutting mat. I'm trying to see if it has a brand on it. I use Vantage, Vantage. I buy them on Amazon. And I don't have a problem. Mine, I've used it probably for the last 8 months or so, and I haven't had an issue. So take a look at Amazon and see if you can find those. So I buy the Vantage 18 by 12 cutting mats. And honestly, I use them in my video. And they get pretty nasty, especially like the one I'm looking at right now, the one I've been using for a long time. I have like dried up texture paste and stuff on it. But eventually what I'll do is I'll cut this in half and put it aside for when I do need to replace it. I'll just start using that for my Gemini. Let me see. Find people destashing. You can look on Instagram. You can look at hashtag crafty destash, card making destash, something like that. A lot of people will use a hashtag. There are some Facebook groups. Some of them have some pretty strict rules though. So take a look at the rules before you join. But if you, the group that I have on Facebook, seriously, guys, as long as you guys are nice to each other, I don't care what you do in it. If you want to destash some items, you'll have to like do the money exchange privately, like through PayPal, Venmo, whatever. But if you want to post it in the group, like, hey, I'm getting rid of this. Does anybody want to purchase this for this amount? And then you can private message each other. You can feel free to do that. The group is to be used for whatever. Oh, Maria, I don't need anything right now. I think I'm okay. As long as I got my Copics, I'm okay. Oh, good. You got your package today. I will check it out. Oh, Yvette, we can do another one. We can do another swap if you want. Angela, you have stuff to destash. I found that I ended up with a lot of stuff that nobody wanted either. But I just kind of held on to it or gave it away. Most of it went to my mom. I just gave it to her. But I would say maybe try a Facebook group. I haven't really seen much in Facebook groups about, have people having much luck selling stuff. But I do know people are hesitant too because they've, had this transaction that they thought was going to go through. They sent money, they never get the item. So people are a little bit hesitant to do it that way. So, I mean, like I said, you can feel free to use the group to post whatever you want to sell. All transactions will have to kind of be dealt with through Messenger privately and like through PayPal or whatever. And, you know, I think we have a very, very good group. It's not a very big group. I think we have, I don't even know, maybe it's about 200 people in the group. And most of them I know. So everybody's pretty honest. And there's going to be a little bit more accountability if anything were to happen, but feel free to use the group if you want. Let me see. Yeah, Maria, that's what I use in place of a cutting, like the actual cutting plate from Gemini, because it's basically free for me because I use them in my videos and then I just recycle them once they get kind of gross. Usually stained, because I put the Copic caps upside down and I always end up with rings. Somebody's posting it's called Courtney's Card Making Hubs. And Marie, I forgot to go back to your question. Yes, I still haven't changed the name because the name has to be changed from the computer. And I spent so much time away from my craft room where my computer is that I just didn't change the name yet. But guess what? I'm writing that down too. Change group name. So as soon as we are done here, I will change that group name. All right. Bye, Teresa. Have a good night. All right. I'm just going through the comments. Bear with me, guys. Have a good night, Tiffany. I know, Marie, 200 friends. That's more friends than I've ever had in like before all of this. I use my business name. Yes. Yes, by the way, Angela is Southern Bella Cards. I think I've known Angela since I started Instagram. I think we pretty much started following each other, if not right, it had to be very soon after. I've been chatting with Angela for a long time. I do clean inside my Copic lids because, and I never used to until I started having an issue with my E18. And it was kind of coming out like the ink was almost thick and it was kind of a weird consistency and it almost looked shiny on the paper. Like it had kind of like a sheen to it. So I had to Google it and figure out what was happening. But yes, the inside of the cap sometimes get a little gross, but like even like that one's gross. Well, that one's gross. Yeah, like this one is pretty bad because I just refilled this one yesterday, so I must have overfilled it a little bit. But just around the edges is where it kind of stains my mats. But yeah, I gotta clean that one. But honestly, I ran out of, because I use Q-tips. I just use rubbing alcohol and Q-tips, but you can't get rubbing alcohol around here. And I have like this much in the bottle left, and I use that to clean my mat. So I can't get hand sanitizer, can't get any of that. So that's the only thing that, like, I'm able to get my hands on craft supplies if I wanted to, but like the things that I use in my craft room that most people are hoarding because of this whole thing is like stuff I need. I need rubbing alcohol for to clean my mats and my Copic markers. And you know, it's just, people don't realize crafters need this stuff too. Yes, definitely clean the lids. All right, so I think I'm caught up on the comments. All right, so does anybody else have any other questions or any topics that you guys want to chat about before we end here for the night? I do have my notes of stuff I have to do afterwards. And yeah, if anybody wants an invite to the group, send me a Facebook message, email, Instagram message, whatever you want. And hopefully I can get on Facebook Messenger after this. I don't know what's going on with it. It's just blank. It has all my information there though. It's not like it logged me out. It has all of my information and everything is just blank. So who knows? I did switch everything from my iPhone to my iPad, so I think that might have something to do with it, but who knows? Really? Oh my gosh, Maria, that's funny. All right, guys, so I think that's it. I don't think there's any more questions. If you guys think of anything that you want to ask me or to elaborate on of the things that we've already chatted about, feel free to reach out to me anytime. Join the group, ask the group, whatever you guys want. And let me know when is the best time to do the color and chat. I know we're going to do it in the evening, but is there a specific day that works best for you? Would you rather have a weekend? Would you rather have a weeknight? Whatever you guys want, because I am free 24 hours a day. Can I check my PayPal? Yeah, sure. I'll message you. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see you soon. Bye.